Hello, this is Hui. Welcome to watch my video C++ programming on Linux. In this short video, it will discuss the labssh C++ wrapper, an object-oriented interface to its C functions. This wrapper simplifies command SSH operations by encapsulating session and channel management within C++ classes. Labssh is a powerful and widely used SSH library in industry. It's primarily a C library and a C API. The labssh C++ wrapper provides header-only embedded C++ interface and make it easy to manage session and channel in your C++ classes. Labssh C++ wrapper bindings for labssh completely embedded in a single HPP file, labssh_pp.hpp. The primary reason for the header-only approach is to maintain application binary interface compatibility and stability. In this way, when you compile your program with these headers, you will only link to the C version of labssh, which will be kept ABI compatible. No need to recompile your C++ program each time a new binary compatible version of labssh released. Labssh wrapper implemented in namespace SSH includes two classes, SSH session, channel, and embedded C++ exceptions. If you wish not to use C++ exception, just define a preprocessor directive macro SSH no CPP exception, then all functions will return the SSH error in case of errors. Here are our Linux. In previous video, we have created a C++ program sshcmd.cpp which demonstrated how to execute command on remote host using labssh C libraries. In this short video, we're going to convert this program using labssh C++ wrapper. So we create a new program sshcpp exception.cpp using labssh C++ wrapper with its embedded SSH exceptions. First, import previous video's example are sshcmd.cpp. To using labssh C++ wrapper, first we need to change the header file. The labssh hpp.hpp. The structure of parameter no change. Usage no change. First argument is server, second argument is port number, third argument is login ID, and command need to execute on remote host. Now we go to function SSH session functions and convert it using labssh C++ wrapper. First, we delete all the line in this function 32 and 46D. So now we rewrite using lab C++ wrappers. Using embedded SSH exception, the classical usage will be try and catch. Try. We have a lab C++ wrapper exception and standard exceptions. When catch exception, which is a print message, with error code and error description and return -1 to YY. For standard exception, print the error description. To use C++ wrapper, the SSH operation will be similar as what we use in C library functions. Here is the flow for running command on remote host. Step 1 is start a new SSH session object. SSH session. Step 2, set up session options. Set option, SSH option host. From in parameter server. Port number. Third option is user login ID on remote host. The log verbosity in this demo, we're going to use no log. Step 3, connect to remote. Step 4, authenticate login password. Step 5, make a for loop to execute all the commands on the remote host. For each loop, step 6, print a command that executes on remote host. Print a number I and the command I. Step 7, allocate a new channel. Name channel object. Step 8, channel new subsession. Next step, step 9, send remote command request. Next step, step 10, after send the remote command execute request, we are going to print the response message received from the remote host. First, we declare read buffer. Variable any bytes is the byte received. Do while any bytes greater than 0 for each loop. First parameter will be the buffer, and the second parameter will be the size. Print out bytes read from the remote host. After exit from read loop, if any byte less than 0, it means there's an error during the reading. I print the error message and the error code. Otherwise, to add a message total bytes read, success, total byte read. Next, send and waiting the channel EOF. If a channel is not a EOF and the timeout still greater than 0, sleep. So we're waiting, channel is a EOF. The step 12, close the channel. If a channel is open, loop for next command. C++ wrapper with SSH exception is able to make your program easy. We don't need to handle error for each operation or method because all the errors will be catched by exceptions. Now we complete to convert our program from the labssh C library or C API to labssh C++ wrapper style. Now we save our program. We compile our program. Now program has been compiled. This is our executable. To test our new executable, we're going to run command on a remote host, Debian Linux. Usage, first argument is server. Debian Linux, IP address 10.0.0.124, port number 22, login ID, first command, hostname, second command, pwd, third command, env, environment variable setup, input a password. After we enter the password, we connected. First command is the hostname. This is our hostname. Command success. Second command number 1 is pwd. This is the home directory. Command success. Third command 2 is env. Here is old command, env response success, total for 22 bytes received. For labssh C++ wrapper, if you wish not to use embedded C++ exception, you can just define a preprocessor directive macro SSH no CPP exception, and then you can use the return error code to handle and manage your session and the channels. Back to our Linux, we convert C++ wrapper example from exception model to not using exception model. To write a program, SSH cpp no exception.cpp, and we import from SSH exception.cpp that we just wrote r SSH cpp exception.cpp. Before we include this HPP file, define preprocessor directive macro SSH no CPP exceptions. Parameter structure no change, usage no change. First, we need to delete the try catch type, so we delete this line dd 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 and delete this 7 line 7 dd. First, we initialize session object. Second, set option. Return code rc equal. If you decide not using exception, we need to catch a return code. Return code is SSH error. Error, print a message. Print error code and error description. Next step, rc equal session user authentication, login and the password. This operation or method return the success, error, partial, and deny. In this demo, consider all success as errors. One, two, three. We copy 3 line, 3 YY. If not SSH authentication success, we just print the error. Step 5, loop for execute command on remote. for each loop. And step 6, print a command. Step 7, allocate new channel. Step 8, open a new subsession. Return code RC. Default return code SSH error. We print an error message. And close the channel. Continue for next command. Step 9, the send remote command request. RC equal. If return code is error, operation failed, continue for next command. Step 10, print a remote response message. No change. Send EOF and waiting for channel EOF, no change. Close channel, where no change. Finish the loop, it goes to next command. Finished, convert our program from using exception model to no exception model. We save our program. WQ, we compile our program. No exception. Now our program has been compiled. This is our executable. To test our example, we're going to run the same command. The usage, first argument, server 10.0.0.124, our Debian Linux, power number 22, login ID of remote, first command. Host name, second command, pwd, third command, env, password. After we type in the password, first command, host name, Debian, command 0, success, total byte read 10 bytes, second command, command 1, pwd. This is a response from pwd, command 1 success, total byte read is 12, third command, command number 2, env, here is the response from command env, success, and the total byte read for 23 bytes, and we finish our program. So today we made an example using labssh C++ wrapper with an exception model or no exception model. It's easier to merge or embedded labssh C functions into your C++ project. Hello, this is Hui. Thanks for watching my video, and it's going to be great to have your feedback.